Zombie dong.
We love Zombie Dong. We give it 2 thumbs up and a pointer finger thumb heart here for Zombie Dong.
Hello. Do you want to play a game?
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
See dead people.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Here's Johnny.
The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Welcome to Talking Horror with Jamie and Nikisha.
Hi, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Nikisha, and this is Talking Horror with Jamie.
And Nikisha.
Where we share our love for all things scary and talk horror through the lens of human behavior. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
Whoa, Papa.
Jamie's still giving her millennial heart sign out for the people.
Trying so hard to be
Well, that's
cool.
not the millennial.
I mean, sorry,
Oh,
the
right.
Gen Z. The Gen Z.
Yeah.
But then that made me think about another Gen Z heart thing. Have y'all seen this? This is such good content for
Yeah,
podcasts.
I have.
Yes.
I have.
Put
The thumb
the thumb
and pointer
the-
finger.
Yes, and the
Yeah.
pointer finger.
Good podcast content.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hate that one the most because what are you doing?
It looks
just
like a
annoys
heart.
me every time. I mean, I see the vision. I don't like it, but I see it. It just makes me upset. Anyway, all
That
to
could
say,
also
great-
that could also be a sentence for this movie.
Oh my God! Yes,
I like
I'm
the
so glad
vision,
you said that,
but I don't see it.
But I don't see it. Oh, I can't wait to talk about this with y'all. Okay, today we are talking about the 2025 post-apocalyptic coming-of-age horror film, 28 Years Later.
Dad! Run, Spike! Run! Go! Fucking go! Keep moving! Oh God! Get off! Spike! Get off now! Spike, go!
Zombie dong.
We love Zombie Dong. We give it 2 thumbs up and a pointer finger thumb heart here for Zombie Dong. So, 28 years later was directed by Danny Boyle and written by Alex Garland, who did the 28 days later, but correct me if I'm wrong, not the 28 weeks later.
Right, he did not write 28
yes.
weeks later. I think he had a treatment and then they used something else. But no, yeah, you're totally
Yes.
right.
Okay, gorgeous. And so this stars Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Alfie Williams, and Ray Fiennes, or if you want to say his name, Voldemort, which I was a surprise to see because I will be honest, I did not see any trailers for this
sure.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So going in blind and just experiencing it for what it was, and it was very interesting, and we'll get into it. So heavy spoilers for 28 years later, maybe a couple for days and weeks, because I'm sure we'll talk about that as well. So I just want to throw that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
If you have not seen that, because I'm sure we'll compare and contrast. And Jamie, please hit us with those trigger warnings.
Yeah. This movie's about zombies.
Oh, rage! Let's rage!
Love a rage.
So yes, this has to do with zombies. So if you are not a zombie person, and that's sorry, I'm not speaking to the undead who listen to our podcast. If you're not a fan of zombie films, this might not be for you. But with that, they are also scary and fast. We do see them, eating gross people, like eating people in gross ways, rather, not gross people. Maybe the people are gross. I don't really know.
Some of them probably were.
Yeah, that you're right. And references to like child death, like serious health issues, like cancer, zombie penis,
Zombie penis. Mm-hmm.
or zombie dong, as you
Zombie
put it.
dong.
I like zombie dong.
Oh, what about Zong?
Oh, absolutely. We love some
Zong.
Zong.
We like
Jamie's
Zong.
not here for it. I'm
No.
here
No.
for it though. I like Zong. I like
Zong. Zombie dong. I think
Zombie
zombie dong rolls off the tongue better than Zong, but Zong is a good like shorthand for it.
Yes, agree.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Any other triggers, Jamie?
I mean, there is also like a pregnancy and delivery.
Oh yeah.
That happens. There's like gun violence. There's like bow and arrow stuff. Lots of insides on the outside. Lots of blood squirts. Weird angles of like kills, like flipping, flopping, things like that.
Flippity flops.
Did I miss anything?
Infidelity. What's when you burn a body? What's it called?
Cremating.
Cremation.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much
Animal death.
Oh, animal death. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say decapitation, but that's inside on the outside vibe anyway. So
Yeah. Finish him.
Ha. Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, totally.
Every
Me
time
too. Yeah.
Speaking of, there's going to be a new one soon, and I cannot wait.
Yes.
We saw the trailer.
Yes, I'm here for Butcher.
I love Carl Urban.
Yes,
I think Carl Urban is an incredible actor. For those of you who have never seen speaking of Alex Garland, the Dredd movie is spectacular.
Oh, haven't seen it.
He wrote it, but apparently he also directed a lot of it. Is not credited because of like things on set and stuff like that. But it's a really good movie, and it's a deep, deep shame that we never got another Dredd movie with Carl Urban. It's a really good movie.
I have to put it on my list because I will watch anything that Carl Urban does.
I would highly. I think you'll love that. It's a great movie.
Got it on the list. Gonna watch it.
Woo-woo.
Okay, yes. So before we get into all of the things, producer Brian is going to give us some words.
Hey friends, hey YouTube, hi YouTube, what's up YouTube? It's me, it's producer Brian. That's now my fantasy football team name. What's up YouTube? Yeah, YouTube, hi everyone, and then everyone listening to us with your earballs, hello, thank you so much for joining us on this episode. If this is your first time, welcome. If you've been here many times, welcome back. We are so happy to have you here. If you're enjoying this, or if you hate this and want to see something else, you can follow us on social media at Talk Horror Pod. That's at Talk Horror Pod on Instagram as well as TikTok. We're reviewing other stuff on there. We're talking lists. We're talking about news, all kinds of fun stuff. For instance, yesterday I just missed this and I got it today. There's going to be they officially announced Quiet Place 3 with John Krasinski as writing, directing, and producing, which I'm very excited about. If you remember, spoiler alerts, the second one left off on a very interesting cliffhanger. And if we're talking like islands quarantines, like this, so like I'm excited to see what's happening there. So yeah, fun times, and thanks for joining us.
Gorgeous. Okay. Well, before we get into everything that is 28 years later, have y'all watched anything new? I was going through all of them in my brain, and my mouth wanted to say weeks.
You're like days, weeks,
years, months.
Years.
I've watched a good amount of stuff, I think.
Yes, tell me.
All right, so Jamie and I watch K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh my god, me too!
Yay!
Yay!
All the songs are stuck in my head always, constantly.
Yes. It's just the shoulder
amazing
movement that I just love.
Great movie.
What did y'all think? Yeah.
It was great. I had a great
I would
time. It was a perfect
like
film.
I would easily add this to a list of like good like gateway horror movies for kids.
Ooh.
Like this, you know what I
Ooh.
mean? Like this, it's not a
Yes.
horror movie, but it has supernatural elements. Therefore, like just kind of like maybe show them this before you get into like
Chucky
like to me like
territory?
it's this and then like Coraline and then like
Mm.
you know like you can like go that way. But this was great.
Mhm. I now want a list from you. Now that also that you have a child, can we have a TikTok of like
I did those.
of leading
Yeah.
up into it? Wow. That's
Well, I
something
didn't
not
do
looking
like
at our social
ages,
media.
but I was like, here are movies to get kids into horror movies without like making them shit their pants.
I love it. Absolutely obsessed.
Also,
Here's what to watch without traumatizing your children.
kids will
Yes.
probably still shit their pants, but not because of the movie.
That's you know what?
yeah.
You're so right.
Yeah, I think like Adam's Family was on there, Hocus Pocus,
Mhm.
the Hotel Transylvania movies.
Don't
Oh, I never
say
seen
that.
those.
I haven't either, so maybe I shouldn't be suggesting them, but they seemed right.
The first one is very cute. I would
Yeah.
put that
Oh,
on that
you know
list.
it's a great one? Monster House.
I love Monster
Oh,
House.
yeah.
That is
Yeah.
my jam.
Um,
Yes.
The TV show Wednesday, I think that's like a good
Mhm.
way
Yes.
in. There was some other like solid stuff on there that is you know that would lend itself to that. But I would definitely add K-pop Demon Hunter to that. Oh, all of the Leica movies, the Leica movies, or however you pronounce
yes.
it. It's
Mm.
you know the
Mhm.
Coraline, Box
Mhm.
Trolls, Paranorman, even the Corpse Bride or Nightmare Before
That's what I was gonna
Christmas,
say.
that kind of
Yeah.
stuff for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
There's more
I
in
love
there.
that.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I went a deeper cut. A lot of those are just like quote obvious, but
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
some deep ones in there, but I forget. Yeah. Anyway, at Talk Horror Pod on TikTok.
Yes.
Woo.
What else have you watched?
Oh yeah, I watched Bambi: The Reckoning.
No
Uh,
way.
That's in the TCU, of course.
Yes.
I forget what it stands for. The Traumatized Childhood Universe or something like that.
Is that really what it's called?
I think it's Twisted
Yeah.
Twisted Childhood.
Oh,
or
Twisted
something?
Childhood
Yeah.
Universe. Yeah.
Twisted.
Twisted. Yeah. It's the best one of all of them by far.
Really? Okay.
It's not like good, but
No,
it
but
is
of
of those. It's enjoyable. Like I was able to watch and not be like want to die. You know what I mean? Like, but it was great. I had a really fun time watching that one. I thought the special effects were pretty good. Yeah, I would, if you're gonna watch any of the TCU movies, not the college, not to be confused with the
right.
school. Yeah, I mean, I got to watch it early. We got a screener, and I did a review on it, but it's definitely the best of, because it's right now it's just Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, and Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, which I did not see, and that one's supposed to be terrible.
Okay.
But I would say like it's Bambi, then Honey 2, Honey 1, and then from what I hear, Peter Pan is number like the bottom of the barrel on that one.
Oh my goodness.
Then I also watched Dangerous Animals.
Oh.
Dangerous Animals is a movie about a serial killer who feeds young women to sharks in the ocean. And Jay Courtney plays the serial killer and is absolutely fantastic. This movie was really good, like actually good, not like well, Brian likes shark movies good. Like it was.
Brian does like shark movies.
I do. But it was good. I thought the special effects were good. I thought that his performance, the reason the movie worked is because of his performance.
Okay.
But I dug it. I thought it was really good. He plays unhinged very well without going into the like, this person is like too crazy. Does that make sense? Like this person is like movie crazy. Like, yes, he has a hint of that, but like I thought it was quite good.
Okay.
Then I watched the John Wick movie Ballerina. But I watched The Blackwell Ghost.
Never heard of that.
That is a found footage movie that I fell asleep 3 times during. It's only like 70 minutes. and that was due to me being sleepy boy and not due to the movie being boring.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's great.
yeah.
It is a great found footage horror movie. It is about this man who decides that he's gonna like kind of tongue in cheek prove that ghosts exist, even though he doesn't believe it. And he finds real ghost footage on the internet, and then he goes and interviews these people, and then like ends up staying in one of the houses where this thing happened, and then like things go like south. But it's not like, the way to describe it is it's not like over the top the house is haunted. Like it feels real house is haunted in some ways. And it was very satisfying. I thought it was really good. There are 7 of these movies. I plan on watching all of them. They're all anywhere between like an hour and 15 minutes and like an hour and 20 minutes. Like they're not that long. The acting is incredible in them. Like, if you didn't know any better, you really would think this is a person trying to prove that ghosts exist. You like stumbled upon this weird documentary. Really good. Would highly suggest at least the first one. I will let you know as I go through all 7 of these things. So those are all the ones that I watched. But that's going back like a couple weeks now, because we haven't done this segment in a while.
Yeah.
A lot of catching up.
Lots of catching up. Wait, Jamie, did you watch Bambi with Brian, or you're like, nah?
I did not. I did not. Nope.
Obsessed.
Nope.
One of these days I'll put it on, and I need to go and watch Winnie the Pooh too, but yeah.
You do not, just to be very clear, you do not have to watch the Pooh movies to understand the Bambi film. Right. You do need to watch first Pooh to understand second Pooh.
Okay. How many Poohs?
Twice the Pooh, twice the fun.
Love it. Well, I also watched K-pop Demon Hunters, but I also watched 28 Weeks Later.
So did I. I forgot. Yeah.
There we go. Was really surprised to also see if you know Rumpelstiltskin from Once, the TV show.
Robert Carlyle.
Yes. In that movie, that's what I associate him with.
100% forgot Rose Byrne is in that movie.
So many people.
Edric what's his name?
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba is in it from our favorite movie about the lion attacking them.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy Renner's in it.
Right. Hawkeye.
Yeah, wild.
Which for the longest, and I hate that I'm admitting this for public on this podcast, I thought his name was Hot Guy, not Hawkeye.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
And I'm like, well, he is a hot guy.
That's hilarious.
So there's that. And then speaking of superheroes, this is obviously not horror, but I saw Fantastic Four and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, we still have to see jealous. It. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it was a good time. Again, a movie that I didn't see a lot of trailers for, so I didn't realize the setup, what it was going to be, the time period it was set in, but I thought that it all worked together very well, and I had a great time watching it because I absolutely watched the first couple of ones from the early 2000s that people are fans of, but
not great.
They have their moments, but overall,
they have their
to
moments.
Quote Jamie, not great.
Not great, Bob.
Not great, Bob.
Great, but it was good. So great,
cool.
All right, so you're here for 28 years later. We're gonna give it to you, but we got to start off with the plot summary from producer Brian. A 2-minute plot summary from producer Brian.
2 minutes for you.
Okay. Let's see if I can do this.
What's the plot?
Wow, you don't sound very confident.
Well, I can do it, but like it's about the 2 minutes.
Sure.
I mean, there's a lot going on, yeah.
All right, 2 minutes are on the clock for you to rage out. Are you ready?
Rage, yeah.
Okay, ready, steady, go.
Okay, it takes the first moment is when the rage virus happens. This group of people is attacked, and only the young boy survives. He tries to find his father, who is a priest, who just like accepts the end of the world. And he gives him a cross, and then the little boy escapes. Cut to, you guessed it, 28 years later, where we learn that the zombies, like we saw in 28 Weeks Later, had escaped the mainland of the UK, and started there, but everyone was able to fight them off outside of the UK. And now the UK is being used, the island is being used as a quarantine zone. We have this group of people who found their own island off the coast of off the coast of Scotland. And they are basically built a community there. This young son named Spike, his father is Aaron Taylor Johnson, Jamie, and he's taking him out for his first kind of like kill. It's a rite of passage with these people. And then his mom, something is very wrong with his mom. She's bedridden. She can't keep her together mentally in terms of stability. Anyway, so the dad is cheating on her with someone else from the village. Anyway, he and the son go out to hunt. The son gets his first kill, but then they see an alpha, which is an evolution of the rage zombie monsters. He kind of like the alpha. It has a little bit more like autonomy, if you will, and a huge song. And so they end up seeing the Zong. They end up seeing the alpha. They hide in a house in the roof, and they're able to kind of escape all those zombies in a harrowing scene. But then the roof starts to collapse because it's the infrastructure. So then they end up running back. They get back to the village. This is gonna be like a 10-minute thing. They get back to the village. And they go to their after party with a really cool mask that never gets explained. And that was really 2 minutes. Damn, Daniel, back at it again with the white vans. I didn't even, so they end up going, so the boy ends up leaving and taking his mom because he finds the dad cheating, and he's like, this is enough of this bullshit. So because he hears that there is a doctor in the just outside their compound. So he goes with his mom. They go through some trials and tribulations. They find a Swedish guy who helps to save them, but then they find this pregnant zombie, and she gives birth, and they take the baby, but we find out it's the alpha's baby, and the alpha like beheads the Swedish guy. And we learn from the Swedish guy that there's a lot happening outside of that, meaning like the internet is still around, like delivery people, like it's very still a functioning world outside of this. Anyway, long story short, long story longer, they find the doctor. The doctor says that the mother has cancer, and then the mother ends up deciding to kind of like end her life, and have the son accept it, and she does that. The son ends up going back to the village. Everyone survives except for the mom, obviously. And they talk a lot about like what death means, that the accepting death as like a part of the cycle. Anyway, the kid takes the baby, drops it back off at the compound, but goes back out and decides to just investigate this world like as an individual. And then he runs into the adult Jimmy from the beginning of the movie. The little kid is now grown up, and he is a part of a gang, if you will. We saw kind of like little teases of it leading up to that with Jimmy like name. So there's some of like a cult religious thing, and that's where the movie ends 28 years later.
And that's the plot.
And there's gonna be a sequel next year.
There is. It's called 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, and it is directed by Nia DaCosta, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, that's interesting to me.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, that was very long, but I felt like there's actually a lot of plot to this. It's not just like they're out there and zombies attack them. Like there's some like, whether you think it's convoluted or not, but there were specific plot points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great. All right. Well, let's start off with trick or a treat, where we let you know, was it a trick? We hated it, or we don't know how we feel about it. We're kind of in between. Or a treat. It was a delight. We loved it. Couldn't get enough.
Trick. Treat.
So, Jamie, please let us know, trick or a treat.
This is maybe closer to trick for me.
Okay, producer Brian.
This is a solid for me.
Okay, and I put it as a trick for me. I will stand.
Okay.
Stand by.
All right.
All right, so let's get into details about why we feel the way that we feel with likes and gripes.
And now our likes and gripes.
Jamie, how about you go first?
Sure. I tried to be super open to this movie.
Mhm.
And I really like all of the people in this movie. Um I just had a really hard time like following exactly what the kind of deeper meaning of this movie was.
Mm-hmm.
Um Also like knowing what the first one is, knowing what the second one is, which I did not rewatch the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Just putting that out there, but like knowing that there's a deeper message, as with any zombie movie, as with any
Yes.
horror movie, but like with zombie movies in particular, that like it's usually an allegory to something. And so knowing that there was supposed to be like something going on, I just had a really hard time like internalizing it until like Brian kind of processed it with me after he did like research and like followed up, which I do that sometimes, but I think I was just like more put off by this movie and kind of maybe like begrudgingly was like, I'm not gonna read about it,
Sure.
because it didn't interest me enough to want to know more.
Yeah.
It kind of felt all over the place, and I felt like the decisions that people were making were like, again, not that I know anything about living in a zombie apocalypse, but it just felt like the decisions people
Interesting.
were making were really just unusual and like against what I feel like humans would do in a lot of these situations. Um, you know, and again, like these are dire circumstances in an extreme world that like we don't exist in, but I just have a hard time that like believing that Jamie wouldn't do anything for his wife and is just kind of like, I guess you're just going to be in bed all day, and like
Right.
we're just
Mhm.
not going to look into that. Or the fact that Spike was like, I'm going to somehow take my mom all the way here and it's going to be fine. And like suddenly also, okay, something that I do have a gripe about in general, and like it was in this movie, is like this kid goes out once and then suddenly magically is like the best, person in the woods and like knows how to be a hunter and like do all this
Sure.
shit. And I'm just like, what? No. Like even if he had been practicing with aim and things like that, because clearly he like was familiar with a bow and arrow. It wasn't his first time doing archery, but like
Right.
I think all of the stuff following that and just like, his first outing with his dad happened to have all of like the perfect things to prepare for, and then he's like, whoo, wah, whoo, I know everything. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
He didn't say that, but it's just like presented as if like
Sure.
there's not that much like anxiety or stress for him and kind of figuring things out and problem solving, which feels deeply unrealistic to me.
Yeah, it was only
Um,
that one moment where like the one is sneaking up on him, and it turns out the mom killed it. Like,
yeah, it
but
wasn't
like,
even him.
yeah, and then that was like the only example of him not being prepared enough. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Everything else, like,
Hmm.
yeah, I totally agree. It was like the magical, magic.
Movie
Yes.
magic, like
Movie
stuff
magic,
that,
for sure.
Yeah,
is, it just takes me out of what's
yeah.
happening and like doesn't really work for me.
When we were watching it, Jamie was like, "What is this plan?" Like she turned to me like little boy, you got a plan. And then in my notes, I at the same time she said that to me, in my notes, I literally wrote, "Bad plan, you little bitch."
Yeah. It was like, I'm just gonna take, and the only thing that was thought out was maybe when he was actually escaping from the place and like setting that
Yeah.
building on fire. And
Yeah, but
Hmm.
also like
How the fuck did they do that?
I don't know. There's an alpha out there. There's nothing that would get me to go find that doctor.
yeah, that's real.
I don't know. I just, yeah, that was, it just made it really hard to like be locked in to this movie.
Mhm.
And I also, I don't know, some of the relationships didn't feel strong enough for me. Like everything kind of felt too convenient.
Sure.
And like Rap Vine's character of just like, I don't know, being the like knowledgeable, like otherworldly kind of character and like imparting all
Sure.
of this like insight into Spike also just didn't do like there was just it felt super tropey. This movie felt very tropey, and I didn't need this movie to exist. I feel like, I don't know, I think there's just certain things where, and it's funny too because like I think Danny Boyle's an incredible director, but it feels the same thing, and I didn't see it, but it feels the same thing like revisiting Train Spotting and making a sequel to that, like, however many years later. Like we don't need to keep doing this.
Yes.
So that's kind of how it landed for me. The other gripe that I had was I'm trying to remember like how I felt watching 28 Days Later and the camera work, and like that it feels really gritty, and like there's the moments with like it feels like they're using like old handheld cams in certain parts and things like that, and I feel like there were moments where they tried to emulate that in this film with like someone would get shot, like a zombie would get shot with an arrow, and they were like using one of those like almost 360 cams to show you the impact of the arrow. But I really hated that. That
Same.
like didn't do it for me.
I agree.
I don't think it has the same impact as like the chaos that the other, like that the handheld cam has, and like the just like the, I don't know, it just like it felt way more precise in a way that I think the original had the opposite, where it was like it's just chaos and like and there were
follow.
and there were even the moments where like I think in the beginning, and I was really confused about what was happening in the beginning, and then I think I kind of figured it out eventually, but like in the beginning when Jamie and Spike are on the mainland, and like he sees the first like crawler, I think he said, after that he sees the deer head, and then there's like this shift to like red, everything is red, and it's like the zombies are in red, and I had no idea what was going on. And that happened several times, and I also think that like again, like similarly, the like kind of red coloring over everything, and just like the slobbering frantic like I'm just like, I have I can't follow what the fuck is going on. I don't know what's happening here. So all in all, I would say that my experience with this movie was mostly disappointing.
And we paused it at an hour, and Jamie was like,
oh my God,
it's only been an hour?
No, we paused it several times. We paused it after 30 minutes, and I was like, it's only been 30 minutes. Like it felt like an hour. And then we paused it again an hour, and I was like, how do we have another hour left of this movie? Like I felt like it took forever to get to like, what's the problem? Like we're doing, I just like shook my whole thing, but like what's the problem that is going to happen? Like, okay, we get it. Like, he's learning this stuff with his dad, and his dad's teaching him about this world, and like blah, blah, blah. But like, can we just like speed this shit up? Like it was just, it felt like too much. It felt like it took too long to get to the point. A point that also I feel like was not entirely clear. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah. I'll piggyback off of that. Especially with how things were filmed. Because I did like mild research on it and saw that they filmed a lot with iPhones, which was very interesting. And they rigged this machine that held like 10 to 15 iPhones, and they were all like filming different angles of like when the zombies were attacked or whatever. And in an interview, they were likening it to like the Matrix slow-mo thing, which is what I hated in this.
Interesting.
And apparently it's called the poor man's bullet time, when they slow time in certain aspects and then speed it back up. But that was one of the things that I hated. I also hated all of the B-roll of the like military things that were happening, or like the bow and arrow things, because then that didn't feel super cohesive with what was going on or what they were trying to do. It's like,
Yeah.
you've already established this world. I don't need outside B-roll to continue to shape like what's going on. I understand that we have arrived in this moment where they're all isolated on this island and we're all going back to kind of like primitive ways and mannerisms and things. Like I don't need to see B-roll of people doing bows and arrows and stuff like that. Like that just that took me out of it completely. Yeah, I agree with you, Jamie. There was a lot going on and things that seemed unfinished, like the whole Eric character that came in, the Swedish guy that came in and like saved them, but then
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about the Swedish guy. That was
Yeah.
also super weird.
it was very weird and random that he didn't have any kind of point or connection with what was going on, except for my favorite scene was when he was showing the iPhone of his girlfriend and Spike was like, oh, she looks like she has a shellfish allergy because of this.
It's so funny.
Which I understand they were also trying to show, like Brian had mentioned in the plot summary, there's life that's happening outside, but it still kind of didn't mesh with what the actual goal was. I did love the scene with the mother choosing to end her own life after the diagnosis. It seemed like they were trying to put a sentimental moment like they did in the first one when like the father dies. And it's like, I see what you're trying to do. Like we said at the top of the episode, like I see the vision, but it just wasn't executed. And it just, even though that was such a sweet moment, it felt so disconnected and a little bit kind of forced on you. Like, oh, we have to have this sentimental, like we've been following this mother-son journey and we have to like have this sentimental moment. And even though it was like nicely filmed and the acting I thought was incredible in this, it just still felt forced. And yeah, I also, in that same vein, in that scene, was kind of shocked, and Jamie was talking about the human behavior aspect of it all, of when the doctor comes back with his mom's skull and he's like, yep, I'll just take my mom's skull and just put it on this, thing.
Just pop
and
it
there's
on
no
top.
kind of, there's like no kind of reaction to it. I'm like, dude, you have to be what, like 12 years old, I think they say that he is. And you're just like, yeah, my mom just, decided to end her life. Let me take her skull. And no kind of like processing of that at all, which was very like, this is too much.
Part of this had more Walking Dead vibes than it did 28 Days Later vibes.
I kept thinking about A Quiet Place.
Yeah. And the alpha felt more orky than it did zombie.
Orky?
Like an orc.
Oh. I don't know why, but for some reason I was thinking like an orca. And I was like, who calls orcas orkies?
Yeah.
I don't know why my brain went there. I'm so sorry. Oh boy.
But no, I agree. It definitely felt more like everything in The Walking Dead. They're trying to find civilization and there's this isolated place that they think that they're safe at, and then they're not safe and they move on to the next one and whatever. But the I hated the ending.
Sure.
The whole Jimmy and his gang and the tracksuits. And I watched a video that was kind of explaining like his childhood trauma from all that he experienced, and so his mind is set in his childhood memories and he hasn't like outgrown them, and so that's kind of a reflection of like his group, his cult that he has made. And they reference like the video I watched was referencing like the Power Ranger-esque moves, right? Because that would have been something that he experienced in his childhood. Like, okay, fine, but also it still feels so out of pocket and random.
Yup.
And in that moment, I thought about Shaun of the Dead, because it felt like we were entering a comedy in that respect with that scene.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So.
And did you notice who played Jimmy?
Oh
no.
The bad guy from Sinners.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I was like, his face looks so familiar.
I did the same thing, and I was like, I just can't place
I did too.
it.
I had to look it up. I didn't know. It was Jack O'Connell. I had to look it up. Yeah.
I mean, hilarious and get your check. But
Yeah.
that wasn't, yeah. Overall, it was not, this one was not for me, especially after the first two, and how much character work, like how much of an awesome job they did in the first one with just like the development of the characters, and you really like
Mhm.
rooting for them, and how they all gradually get this nice bond and connection. And yeah, this one just felt like they were a hat on a hat on a hat, like we
Sure.
say on here. So there was a couple of sweet moments, but overall, I when it ended, I'm like, I don't ever need to see this again. And if I had to recommend any of the three, like this would be the third on of the three
Sure.
Mhm.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got. Producer Brian.
Okay. So I really liked the beginning of this movie. Because we're getting back into the world. We're learning about the new rules. I love a good like medieval setup where like you know with you can only leave during low tide and we're safe here. Like I liked learning about their rules, about their culture, and all of that stuff. Um, and then as the movie kept going, I was like, it's just taking a long time to get to the point of this movie. Um, and uh, and I missed the gritty lo-fi of it all. Um, but I thought that some of the smoothness of the cameras in this fit the narrative that like they're a group that put together this island and things aren't as chaotic for them, so we wouldn't get that like weird lo-fi. But when it came in, as you two said, I thought that the kill edits were very distracting. Um, um, and it just like was trying to be like the first one instead of just being what this movie is.
Mhm.
Um, I thought that so the night vision stuff and the old movies, I thought created a lot of tension during times that there was no tension, and that was kind of their way of doing that. Also, I'll get back to what I think that was doing thematically because I want to talk
Mm,
about that a little bit because I did not. This movie is an allegory for Brexit in a post-COVID world,
yeah.
and I am not informed enough about Brexit and all of that to have really like felt connected to that message or that conversation this movie is having,
Mhm.
which definitely like made it either go over my head or me just be very apathetic to it. Um, I thought it was very slow in the middle in general. Um, I thought the performances were all excellent in this movie.
Hmm.
But the thing that really bothered me the most about this movie is that the emotion did not land for me. I felt like the whole mom plot, especially when they leave the village, feels very rushed. I had no
Mhm.
emotional connection to those characters. I thought that her decision to just kind of do that was made without the audience in mind. Like I feel like a
Mm.
lot of the decision making was made off screen or too internally. Um, I just like I it happened too quickly for me. For a movie that felt too long, those emotional beats felt too quick.
Yeah.
Also, don't show me a cool mask and not explain the ritual a little bit at the beginning.
Yeah, what was that? What was
Yeah.
going on?
I don't know.
Multiple times.
But so I'm going to take a step back from so this is an allegory for Brexit. The what from my research and what I understand, and in a post-COVID world, it's about isolationism. The parallels between the fact that all the infected escaped into mainland Europe, but then they were able to fight it off and put them all back on the mainland and basically have Britain be a quarantine separated from everything else. And something that they're doing to themselves because rather than try and leave the island and go to the mainland, they would rather suffer their own fate in their villages that do not have internet, that do not have iPhones. They would rather live this kind of primitive medieval life in their home with their own old traditions and cultures than try and survive somewhere else. The young boy is representative of someone who has been fed this information, this jingoistic, this like very nationalistic idea, gets out and finally sees everything and is curious and interested in that growing up aspect of things. His mom represents like someone who has these flashbacks of a time where things were nice, but also can understand that the future isn't the brightest, and that she needs to kind of remove herself from the situation to give her son the best like life to move forward. The dad represents this idea of like, UK forever. I'll ride or die. This, that type of thing. In that, the lying of like boasting yourself to be even better than you are in the party, like in your own little bubble world. The mask and the ritual stuff, even though we don't get the details of it, it's all a part of their culture. And then that, coupled with the cutting of the British cultural medieval movies all throughout this, where they're kind of like living in this British medieval time, cut, and they're using medieval bow and arrow tactics to slow down their enemies in defense. All of that is supposed to kind of like filter into this idea of a world post COVID where Brexit happens, and where post COVID is made us all more isolated, made us all more in our own bubble of how each of our countries handled this in COVID and lockdown and all of that. So I think in that way the movie is really interesting. However, it not enough, like and maybe I got it a little bit, but I don't know the ins and outs of. I mean, I guess I explained it enough here, but like I don't know, it didn't resonate with me. I also found the CGI very distracting. I thought the CGI of the deer was really distracting. I thought the larger zombies, when they were like being killed, like you could tell where the CGI comes in and out. All of that. Also, this going back to the allegory, the idea of even though the father and the mother had an idea that she had cancer, by not telling him, by essentially telling him the lies, or the status quo of like, this is just life, like she's crazy, she's like mentally ill or crazy or whatever it is upstairs, they wouldn't have made that trip. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe they would have made that trip for different reasons. So keeping the kid or the young people in the dark causes all of these things. And then on the flip side, you have Jimmy. Jimmy is wearing the tracksuits. They're playing the Teletubbies music in the back. Everything that Nikisha said. Also, apparently there was a DJ kind of TV personality named Jimmy Seville. I don't know, in England, who was like this like really renowned, well like regarded TV host and DJ personality. And then after he died, a lot of people came out about him being a sexual predator, and it turned out that he's one of the most prolific sexual predators. Like that was like after his death, and his whole thing was tarnished. But when he was alive, both children and elderly people. But when he was alive, a lot of people came out, but they were all dismissed, probably, for what, many different political reasons or whatever it is. But he was based on that. There are some concepts, ideas, or theories that in the world of this movie, he's never outed as a predator because everyone died already in this timeline. So that's where the tracksuit comes from. I think that's again, this is a very UK culture based movie, and like I just feel very out of the loop when it comes to that. So I'm wondering if this plays better to a British audience who is more aware of their politics and their culture than it does to an American audience who kind of comes for the zombie stuff and the narrative, when the narrative is very tied to what's happening politically there. So that was interesting there. And then obviously, like, the Teletubby stuff, and like he's still stuck in like this mindset, but overall, like, I thought the movie was fine. I thought the performances were great. I don't know what I was expecting, but I love the swings. To stay positive for a minute, the swings that this movie takes, the interesting concept of like showing the iPhone and stuff like that they're choosing this life as opposed to being forced into a lot of this life, is a very interesting concept to me. But overall, I would have liked this movie significantly more if those emotional beats in the third act hit. and they did not. And
No.
that emotionally, that's kind of what I'm basing my review on. Like, it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Moments did. All the setup at the beginning worked, but all the payoff at the end just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you feel like it was a setup thing that wasn't executed, but you feel like the setup was fine. It just still didn't hit at the end.
Yeah, I thought the setup of the world was excellent. I don't think the setup of the
Okay.
emotional stakes of like his relationship with his mom and dad. I was more invested in him and his father's relationship because we spent so much time with them. Then all of a sudden we're hopping to him and his mother, and we got the very generic like hugging her, cuddling her, like type of things and trying to save her. I needed more moments like her saving him secretly in that like ruins to like really show that she's like, and maybe she was also maybe she was too out of it at the beginning too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like something about that didn't click for me. Therefore, the end and her decision making at the end, or the narrative decision making at the end of her deciding to like, it was too much. It was too fast.
Yeah.
Didn't work
Well,
for me.
yeah, there was no emotional impact that I feel like the movie was trying to elicit out of its audience.
Yes.
At least for
Yes.
me, I did not
Same.
feel like sad.
No,
like,
I was like, oh, this is weird.
Right. It's like, this is where we're going. Okay.
Yeah, like
And
when
it
the
felt
mom
weird-
was like, was nodding for like the guy, him to dart gun him.
Yeah.
I was like, where are we going with this? Also, just another gripe. When the alpha, when they're at the end, when they're in the like when they're in the little trapdoor area and the alpha's like on top chasing them, like that's the perfect time to fucking use your dart gun like through the little grate. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off, Nikisha.
No. I was just gonna say, because you were bringing up just the setup of Spike and his mom's relationship, and I feel like it also didn't work because, like you said, we didn't have any moments with just them, but it felt like the catalyst was just his dad cheating on his mom, and so then it was like, okay, well, that's my reason to go like grab my mom, as opposed to it just being like, we are seeing his relationship with his mom and they are so close that he's like, just because my dad said there isn't a cure, I'm gonna go find one with my mom, and having those moments, as opposed
the
to
lie of the doctor was enough for me.
yes, but it felt like it was kind of like the cheating that turned everything around, and how he felt about his dad. But yeah, just the lying at the party and the lying about the doctor or whatever was enough. You didn't need to add
Sure.
Anyway, great. Anything else before we move on?
No.
Okay, great. Well, let's move on to
wait.
brain. Oh, yes.
Sorry, did you think the gore was too silly? I wrote a question for us.
Oh,
silly? I don't know.
I think what you said about the CGI was correct in regards to the gore. It just took me out of it. I wouldn't say silly though. I wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
What about you, Jamie?
Sorry.
I don't know. I just like didn't care.
No, or that. But I feel
Fair.
like there's some movies where I will watch like gory stuff and I will actively laugh because it is funny and silly how they chose to do whatever the case.
Totally.
But this just, I didn't feel, I guess like you said, Jamie, like I didn't really feel anything towards it.
I didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Let's move on to brains.
Tasty.
Tasty. All of the brains. Okay, so in our zombie apocalyptic world, Jamie, I just want to talk about what Brian already brought up, which was isolationism. And I was reading an article that stated one of the themes in this movie was that like isolation is an illusion and unsustainable because eventually things will kind of like creep back in. So I just wanted to ask your opinion. In this world of zombie apocalypse, do you think that choosing isolation is unsustainable? And why do you think, like, especially within these kinds of movies, that people's first mindset is to just kind of like isolate themselves and not go forth and try to find other people to like build community and numbers to kind of get over this thing. They just choose to stay within the confines of their own world.
Yeah. I mean, I think for one, I don't think that everybody does that, but I do. You know, obviously that is something that people do is, you know, whether it's like them shutting down in a sense or just removing themselves from certain social things. Or I think seeking out kind of like the echo chamber of your own opinions and thoughts and values and things. So like I think that's I think that maybe there's like a couple different things happening, but I think it's kind of all of that where it's both, you know, it's a group of people who like are all sharing this one belief system and like all agreeing with each other, and therefore there's no room for anything outside of that. And I think that people don't want to like they don't want to necessarily question their own like value system because that's uncomfortable and like change is hard, right? Like people don't want to go through that experience, so they will compartmentalize or you know use any defense mechanism, you know, denial or projection or like something else, because like they themselves are unable to like challenge that. And I think, you know, even beyond just like isolationism, like nationalism, which I think is something that we see a lot now. And you know, I think it's a similar thing of like how are people who are people choosing to communicate with and choosing to like align themselves with and maybe isolate themselves from other people who are not agreeing with their beliefs, their belief system and their values. And they're only getting, and I think social media also plays a role with it in this. Absolutely. That social media is intentionally like the algorithms work so that they are feeding you the same things that you already think and believe. If you like engage with content, then it's telling you like, oh, they like this, I'm going to give them more of this. It's also the same with AI, like for people who use Chat GPT, which please don't, but also don't if you're looking for like therapy advice, because this is the exact problem. AI is designed to like tell you what you want to hear. It is not like giving this objective opinion to you. It is like regurgitating what you have already asked and said back to you in a way that is more agreeable and appealing to you. And so again, here's another place where people are using this constantly, and the things that they're getting back is just the same thing. It's not allowing for critical thinking or you know, hearing out different perspectives. There's no diversity in thought, and that is a very scary thing.
Absolutely agreed. A great way to put it, but I don't think I would ever get on the chat or GPT thing.
Good.
I mean,
good. I'm like super anti AI, which like is also really hard in the world that like continues to move into it. And also like I also recognize that like what the saying of like there's no ethical consumption in capitalist society, like recognizing that to like trying like I'm not going to like attack people. I think it's more of just like, you know, do your best. If you're aware of like the consequences of things, like, you know, be mindful of that and like do your best. But if you're just actively like, I know how it impacts the environment and like I don't give a shit, then like that's not great.
No, it's not great. Please care about the environment. But that's also why I don't want to use any of that stuff. It's just how it's affecting the environment and everything in general. But that's a great point. You just saying you're not being challenged by other thoughts and belief systems when you like just confine yourself to what you want to hear and the people who share the same values as you.
Yeah. Yep.
Great. And then my last question has to do with the scene with Spike and his dad on the mainland, and they're hunting, and they come across the body that's being hung up from its feet,
Mm-hmm.
and the dad is telling Spike, "Don't look away. Look at
Mm.
this," kind of in a
Mm-hmm.
sense to kind of desensitize him from all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to ask, do you find it helpful or healthy or harmful to expose kind of children at that age to
Hmm.
some of the more horrific things of the world, in hopes to maybe desensitize them from it, or just to give them an idea of like what the world is like? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't love trying to like desensitize, especially like a child. And again, this is like I'm thinking about this from the reality that we live in standpoint, and
Yes,
not
yes.
like the
Zombie.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, of course.
But like I feel like we have to let kids be kids as much as we can, because like just putting these like adult things on kids, like we know that this has a negative impact on them. And that's not even talking about desensitization in general. I'm just speaking about it in terms of like putting things on youth and on the youths,
On
and
the youths.
and like the harm that it can cause. But I think like desensitization comes at a cost. I think some of the costs of that are compassion fatigue. So like for people who aren't familiar with compassion fatigue, it's something that a lot of like helping professions are at risk of. It can also be called like secondary traumatic stress. So like in terms of a primary traumatic stress, that would be like if you yourself experienced a trauma. A secondary trauma is you're hearing about a trauma. So it didn't directly happen to you, but you are like, somebody is telling you about it in detail. So like you can see how, a helping professional, like even like definitely therapists who are, providing support to people and listening to sometimes like really intense experiences that people have lived through. You're just hearing about it, but it still has an impact. And I've absolutely had that experience where people have shared things with me in a therapy session, and I like was deeply affected by it because I'm also a human, and like hearing about it in detail is like, it is horrible. And so like I have to take care of myself so that I can continue to like be supportive to the people who they themselves have gone through these experiences. So the fatigue comes in is from the exhaustion that comes, that like you're taking on a lot emotionally for other people, and that comes at a cost of impacting your ability to empathize with people. And like that is a terrifying thing, again, something that I feel like we're perhaps experiencing now.
Yes.
I don't even think it's necessarily from compassion fatigue, but just our impaired empathy, I think, is like a current state of being for the world that we're finding ourselves in. And like that, to me, not even just as a therapist, but as like a human, is the thing that gives me the most stress and anxiety about the state of the world. Is, and again, I think that that's intentional, but like I think that the way that we're tapped in emotionally to like things becomes so overwhelming that it's harder and harder to care about it. And we have to keep that in check. We need to like be really mindful about this. And I can't even remember what the original desensitization. I was like, I went down like this rabbit hole of compassion
No,
fatigue,
it's perfect.
but
It's perfect.
but like it also comes up, like I think, for people who read the news a lot, and the news itself has really evolved where things over time have become more sensationalized. We've gotten to this place where like more graphic visuals are presented to us in the news. So like we're consuming content that is way more traumatic than we ever have before, and that also desensitizes us to being more and more like okay, in quotes, with receiving more of it. So
Because it also
I think,
comes at such a fast rate too now, just
yeah,
with the internet. It's like even things that you wouldn't even be searching for, you're getting exposed to it over and over again.
yeah, absolutely. So like we just are, we're getting so much at such a high frequency, at such a rapid frequency, and there's just so much of it. So I think that that definitely can just make it really hard to continue to care in the ways that we would like to. So yeah, and I think on the flip side, not to just like shit all over this concept, I think there are some things that we can perhaps like desensitize us to. I would frame it differently, probably. Like
Yeah.
it makes me think about like anxiety and like challenging ourselves to do certain things that we are anxious about, because sometimes our anxiety prevents us. It serves as a barrier to actually doing certain things. So how might, going through an experience that you're like fearful of because anxiety is telling you like it's not going to go well or you're going to mess up or whatever, that you do it and then you're like, oh, okay, like my anxiety was making it seem like this would be worse than what I thought, and like now that I did it, I actually don't feel as badly. So like that's kind of the
Right.
flip of like I think context is really important here.
Sure.
Yes.
But I think that like there are some circumstances, and also like emotional safety within that, like perhaps you're receiving support around like challenging your anxiety in those ways, and it's not just you being like, let's fucking go, like,
Right.
sure,
Yeah.
I know that works for some people, but like I think that having a support system around like challenging your anxiety is really crucial. But yeah, so I think that like it really depends. I know I feel like I should just have like a bumper sticker that says like it depends on the context, but because I'm
But it
saying that all the
does.
time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
context is super important. So yeah, I think it does depend, where a lot of times I think us being desensitized causes more harm, when it comes to like empathizing with other people. But I think it can be helpful for things like anxiety that's preventing you from living the life that you want to live.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Great answer. Love it. Love it.
Well said.
Whew.
Yes.
Take your sip of
Well said.
water. Hydrate yourself.
Mhm.
Amazing. All right, should we rotten tomatin this?
Let's
Rotten
rotten
tomatin.
tomatin this. Aye, ho, ho, rotten tomatin.
It's the Rotten Tomatoes game.
Okay.
Hey, ho, ho.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think this has on Rotten Tomatoes?
I am gonna say a 56.
Jamie
A 67.
has an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, but the audience score, the popcorn meter, is 63%.
Yeah.
So way more around what the two of you said. The critics' consensus says 28 years later taps into contemporary anxieties with the ferocious urgency of someone infected with rage virus, delivering a haunting and visceral thrill ride that defies expectations. We watched a different film.
Yeah.
Cool.
Agreed.
Awesome.
But the
Awesome.
audience says an undeniably ambitious installment 28 years later may disappoint fans seeking the original's iconic raw horror, but most will be moved by the emotional depth brought to life by its talented cast. That feels more in line with what we said. Even though the emotional stuff like didn't land for us, the acting is good.
Right.
Um
I'll take it.
yeah, that's fine. I also just wanted to remind us what the other two were.
Oh, yes.
So 28 days later, the original has an 87% Rotten Tomato score, but the audience score is 85%. So that's more on track with people liking it. 28 Weeks Later has a 73% Rotten Tomato score, so it's the lowest of the three, and then has a 66% for the critic score. So it's all just very interesting there.
Yeah.
Cool. So what do you think this has on Letterboxd? Jamie, why don't you start first?
A 3-1.
All right, Nikisha.
I'm gonna say right on the line 3.
A 3.5.
Oh.
And here are the most popular reviews.
Yes.
It's about dong, I know it.
Most of them are, yes. Actually, no. At number 3, starting to think that the virus has Viagra in it.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
At number 2, the most terrifying and unsettling thing about this movie was seeing those fucking Teletubbies.
Actually, yeah. Was not expecting those.
And the number 1 most liked review is Rafe Fiennes is so damn orange in this film. I thought he was the fucking Lorax.
Oh, that was excellent. Yeah. Yes.
Great. All right. Should we do the 4 S's?
Yes.
Skull, scare, shakes, and suggestions. The Talking Horrors 4 S's.
All right. The 4 S's stand for Skull, Scare, Shakes, and Suggestions. Skulls is how well this movie handles mental health and human behavior. Scares is how scary was it. And Shakes is, will you remember it? Will this stay with you? Those are all 1 through 10. And then we'll go through our suggestions. If you like this or didn't like this, what else could you watch? What's in a Walmart 2-pack of DVDs? Jamie, per usual, why don't you start us off?
Sure. These aren't high scores.
Yeah, that's okay.
Obsessed.
I gave it a 4 for skulls, a 1 for scares, and a 3 for shakes.
Totally
Work.
fair. Nikisha.
Yeah, similar. A 5 for skulls, a 1 for scares, and a 4 for shakes.
Cool. Mine's similar. I did a 4, 1, and I gave this a 5.
Okay.
But for right now, if I'm thinking about this still in a couple weeks, like maybe in 28 years, maybe I'll give it higher. But I'm gonna go with the 5. This was fine. I was pretty disappointed overall.
Yeah. For sure.
Great. Suggestions. I blanked out what we're doing next.
I was waiting for you to say it, and I was like, he'll get there.
Yeah, I got there. Suggestions. Jamie, why don't you start?
Honestly, I had nothing. Like, I was gonna be like, okay, you could just like watch 28 Days Later.
Mm-hmm.
You could watch like, I don't know, any other zombie movie. Something just really didn't click for me, where I was just like, honestly, I don't even know.
That's fair. Nikisha?
I already said it before, but that last scene gave me Shaun of the Dead vibe. So I'm like, if you want a zombie and make it fun, do that. But then also, Brian, you were saying something, and then it made me think of The Village, we were talking about isolationism. So if you want something in that vein, watch The Village.
Sure. I said Quiet Place Part 2 specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Cillian Murphy's in it. There's a little island fun. So you have that. And then The Two Towers if you want orcs.
Work.
Not orcs, sure baby. Orkies.
Orkies. Fantastic. Well, this wraps up our episode of 28 Years Later. You can follow us on the socials, TikTok and Instagram at Talk Horror Pod. And producer Brian, where can they listen to us?
You can listen to us wherever you get podcasts. Of course, you can find us on YouTube. Hi, YouTubular. You can also find us on places like Spotify, like Apple Podcasts. Rate and review us there. 5 stars, please.
And
thank you.
It just lasted like a second longer than I thought it was.
Yeah.
So So let's just hop right in.
Yeah.
All right, guys, don't get zonged or if you
Don't get
do,
zonged. Watch out for those zongs.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.